Hey guys, go ahead and get out your poetry packet. My e-learners, I have this up on Schoology for you. We are going to look at now some poems that other poets have already created. Some famous and popular ones, some not so popular, multiple kinds. If you go to Schoology, go to language, and scroll down. We're going to look at victory first. My friends, in your packet, you are turning to your page that looks like this. Both lights off, please. All right, so we need to talk about some comprehension and some understanding of poems. So we're going to read this poem called Victory. The poet on this one is anonymous. You'll see that numerous times in poetry, sometimes in books, maybe comics too, where for whatever reason, maybe the poem or whatever was written is older, that we can't track down who wrote it, or the author isn't wanting to be known. They don't want their name in the public, okay? They do have a title at the top, and they have some space here along the sides. So my friends who have the packet, Mrs. Long's class and my class, you're going to be using this space on the sides. My e-learners, you can write down your notes in your language notebook. But as we read this, and I'm going to pause, we're going to read it a couple times, I want you to write down notes. And what you're writing down anywhere in this space on the sides is going to be, what are you thinking? What does it make you think about as you're reading it? What are you wondering about? What are you questioning? Is there something that you have a connection with that you read? Okay? Anything that's going on in your brain as you're reading this is what I want you to write down. Now, obviously, is anybody going to have the same notes?
No.
Everybody's going to have different notes here, and there's no right or wrong. It's whatever you think about as you're reading this poem. Okay? Whatever makes you question, wonder about, maybe something else you're curious about that it doesn't tell you. Anything at all is what you're going to write down. So right now, for our first read, I want you to read it in your head. Pause when you need to for your notes, but I want you reading it in your head to yourself. Pause when you need to. These are just like notes also where it does not have to be a complete sentence. It does not have to be neat, just as long as you can read your notes. It can be one word or maybe a couple words, a short phrase. It does not have to be complete sentences. If you're finished, you're going to be patient for our friends to finish, but nobody should be finished that quick. Okay, sit underneath your desk. Not being a talker. You already have one extra recess. That gives you one towards the next one. All right, this time around, I'm going to read it to you. I still want you adding to your notes. Maybe as I read it to you this time, you think of something else. Victory. She gritted her teeth and took a breath as she crouched at the line. She paused, the sound of her own heart beating, beating, beating. A quick glance to the right and to the left was all it took. No one would pass her this time. This time would be different. This time she would feel the rush, hear the cheers, be at the finish first. She would finally feel the heavy weight lifted from her heart and draped around her neck instead. Joy would fill places where before only worry lived. This time, victory was hers. All right, I want us to go ahead and share some thoughts here. And on the line below, give me some of your final thoughts. Maybe something that you didn't think about, but hearing a friend say it, you're like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. That you can add to it. All right, Bradley.
She has been training, and she's been waiting to win.
So she's been training, waiting, and wanting to win. Max?
She's failed before, and she's focusing and making sure she's going to win this.
So she's failed before, but she's focusing and working hard that she wins this time. I hear about winning and losing. Winning and losing what? What is she doing? It doesn't tell me what sport she is doing. What is she doing, Justice?
She's racing.
She's racing. Yeah, she's running because it talks about being crouched at the line, like a start line for running. It talks about, being at the finish line first. Now, do we know what kind of running, like how far of a distance? No, but I will tell you, if you have any knowledge about running, you will know that being she is crouched at the line, she has to be a sprinter, not a long distance runner. Only sprinters, so nothing over a 400, okay, unless you're maybe at the Olympic stage. So that means when you're on the track, one straightaway, that's a 100. A straightaway and a curve is a 200. A 400 means one lap, okay? She's doing one of those distances because when you're crouched at the line, that means you have spikes, the little sharp things on your shoes that you're wearing to help you kind of get some grit underneath your feet, and you're sprinting as fast as you can. If you're a distance runner, you wouldn't be crouched at the line. You'd be standing maybe just like ready to go, a little bit hunched over, but not super much because you're running distance. You're not sprinting as fast as you can. You gotta pace yourself more, and you're a little slower in speed because you're running for so long. Okay, so we know she is some kind of runner. What else, Mason?
Who is she?
So you want to know who is she? Yeah, it's not really telling us any facts about her. We don't know, what is her name? Is this a school running event that she's doing? Is it track meet? Is it maybe like a travel team that she's on, a summer league that she's on? Maybe she's in college. Maybe she's an Olympic athlete. We don't know anything about her. We don't know, what does she look like? It doesn't give us any physical descriptions of her. Yeah, so wondering a lot of details about her. Malia?
How many times has she done this?
How many times has she ran before? Yeah, it makes me definitely think that she mentally is a strong runner because she's mentally getting herself ready for this to win, and she's prepared herself, so I know that she's got to be a strong character. Mimi?
I put in my phone there. It's like a running poem.
It's a running poem.
How does she feel about her win?
How does she feel about her win? Yeah, it talks more about, just like at the time being, so we know, her feelings right here are when. Is this before the race, during the race, or after?
Before.
Before. This is her getting ready to run. And still even down here, is this before, during, or after?
Before.
It's still before. You know, she's saying right now how she's gonna feel when she's done. Do we actually know then if she won? No, because as an athlete, you can be telling yourself in your head, I'm gonna win, I know I can do it, but when it comes down to it, maybe she didn't, maybe she got second. We don't know that she actually won. She did a great job of a mental game, getting herself psyched up, having confidence, being secure in herself to have those feelings that you need to win. But maybe by the time the race was done, maybe somebody did beat her. Maybe she did win. We don't actually know. All of these feelings are pre-race. We don't know how she felt during the race or after. Bradley?
She is like 100% sure she's gonna win the race.
She's 100% sure she's going to win. But does that mean just because she's 100% sure, does that mean that she for sure will win?
No.
No, that still means there could be another runner next to her who has trained harder and who is even better mentally prepared than her that could beat her. Yeah, we don't know. Everybody, you guys remember, everybody that's on this start line, they all went to win. Nobody gets on the start line going, man, I hope I get last place. That'd be so cool if I got last. I mean, maybe Mrs. Long. I don't think she can run very fast. I know I could outrun her. Ask Mrs. Long if she's on a 5K yet. Just ask her. But yeah, nobody goes in any sport. Nobody signs up to be on a sport and go, man, I hope I get last. I hope I lose. Nobody wants that. So all of these athletes who are on the line, they're all wanting to win. They're all having similar thoughts that she is right now, that I'm going to win. I'm the toughest. I'm ready. I'm winning this time. But when it comes down to it, we're not going to actually know until that race is over who really is the mentally strongest and has physically prepared the best. All right? Any more comments you'd like to share about this poem? Bradley?
That she's like excited.
She's excited? Yeah, I definitely think she likes what she does. I think most athletes like what they do, otherwise why would they choose it? Mimi?
I was just saying I really like this poem.
Nice. All right, your next one. Find Stopping by the Woods, also on Schoology. This one is by Robert Frost. Robert Frost by far is my favorite poet. I'm actually going to show you two poems here. Hold on. So this is not on Schoology and this is not in your packet. You're just being a listener right now. I wanted to share with you my favorite poem by Robert Frost. Let's find a good one that I can see. All right. It's called The Road Not Taken. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveler, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as far as that the passing there had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. So this poem right here is about choosing your own path. And so for me, what I take away from this poem is if you come upon a path, everybody has a path in life, you know, hypothetically speaking, you have a path in life, you have choices, okay? So when you're met with two choices, choose your own path. Don't be a follower. Don't do something just because somebody else did or your friend did that, so you need to do that too. You know, choose your own path, be your own individual, and be confident with your own decision. Okay? Be unique. Okay? Don't take paths that other people have taken. Be unique. All right. So let's take a look at the poem that you guys have today in your packet. So same poet here. This was written in 1923. Okay? Was that any time recently? No. Long time ago. Robert Frost is not alive anymore. Stopping by woods on a snowy evening. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it's queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark, and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Now I heard some, as I said one word on here. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to remember this is written in 1923. The words that this poet is choosing in his poem are meant literally, okay? They're not meant for a way that we have used some of our words more in type of slang, okay? The word queer means happy. That's what that word means. If you look it up in the definition, it is happy, okay? And that's the way that poet is meaning for that word to be meant to be taken, okay? I want you to read that poem in your head now. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 3 questions here asking us about this poem. The first says, what is this poem all about? The second says, why does the horse think the stop is a mistake? And the third says, what do you visualize in this poem? Ladies and gentlemen, just like creating our poetry, what you take away from a poem, what you are comprehending and having that poem visualized for yourself in your head is going to be different for everybody, okay? That's what's really fun and interesting and unique about poetry. I want you right now to discuss with somebody in your area while you are sitting these 3 questions now. You can discuss with more than one person in your area.
Why does it repeat itself at the end?
Oh, why do you think it does? I think it's kind of just being dramatic to repeat those last 2 lines. Maybe the author is wanting to make sure you really take that last line a little bit more serious than the others. There's a little more meaning behind it. Again, there's no right or wrong answer. It's all going to be how you interpret it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, listening in 3, 2, 1. You guys have a roll the dice poem for tonight. This is a poem that you will roll the dice, count the dice to see how many syllables each line will be. On your iPad, you guys know you can type in virtual dice on your iPad, and that's what you guys will use as your dice. You write your number in the dice, add them up. That's how many syllables each line will have to be, okay? So each line will have different syllable amounts, okay? Top line is for your title. You do need to fill out each line. This is a discussion that you will share with your friends and when you are finished. Topic is your choice, anything you want it to be. All right?